Hi everyone, as you can see from the intro and the title of the video, we are going to be deep cleaning my pantry and then cleaning up my kitchen. I am actually recording this voiceover post filming this video, and so I'm excited, regardless of where you are at in your life, to hear some of the thoughts and some of the mindset shifts I had to make throughout this video. At the beginning of recording, and even if I wasn't filming, I had a lot of expectations for what this day would look like. And as you'll see in the video, this day became like essentially 2. And my task list went from about 30 things to about 10. And I think that that is a testament to, I don't want to say my life, but I think something that most of us do, which is we over-assign ourselves tasks, especially with cleaning. I see a lot of us, not just me, thinking that we can do more in a day than is actually feasible. And so I think there's a real possibility that a lot of us are going to be cleaning while you watch this video. And so something I wanted to talk about, and I think it's so important, is the idea of romanticizing consistency over motivation. And what I mean by that is, ultimately, your motivation is going to reflect that of a roller coaster. Sometimes you are going to have the fire inside of you to deep clean every single part of your house, including the baseboards, shampooing the carpets, dusting every inch of the apartment, every inch of the house. And other days, you are not going to want to do your laundry and you're running out. And so, I say all that to say, I find it perplexing that we look at motivation and we view that as an ideal, as the gold standard, when I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. I'm not the first person to tell you that motivation will come and go. Yet somehow, some reason, we all hold ourselves to the standard that we should have motivation all the time, or that we should be consistent all the time. And so, something I wanted to bring up is what consistency should look like. And when I say that, I don't mean you need to have it all together. You need to do things even when it's not feasible, even when you're so tired that you can't even keep your eyes open. What I actually mean is, 1, having compassion. I don't clean my kitchen, deep clean my kitchen at least every day. However, I at least wash my dishes right when I'm done with them. So those little habits, that's what I mean when I'm talking about consistency. It's looking at those small pieces of our lives that don't take much time that we can do. Another example, and this is something my husband and I really struggle with, and we still do for the record, and that is laundry. We struggle to have like a set day where we're doing our wash. And so one way that we have worked around that is we're the only people that live in this home. And so right when we get home, we take our clothes off and we put them right into the washer. So we're removing those barriers in our life that would typically make it harder for us to accomplish the task of laundry. And then as soon as we notice the washer is about 3/4 of the way full, we go ahead and we start a load. As I said before, I think consistency is beautiful and that should be romanticized, not these extreme versions of motivation we all find ourselves having the capacity to manage once in a while. But I also say that to say that there are going to be times where even consistency will not be possible. And I think that we, even with that, do not give ourselves enough space to rest. I can't tell you how many times I have start a new semester when I was in college, or start a new month and I open a Google Calendar and I plan out these elaborate days with literally no time to rest because I don't think I deserve rest. And it's so interesting that we don't view rest as a productive, beautiful thing, because rest is where we gain the energy to once again do those tasks, to be productive. It's so similar to saying, I am going to use my laptop to do schoolwork or other tasks, but it doesn't need to charge because it should just have unlimited energy. Or, it should only need a little bit of time at night to charge. It should only need that time that I allow it at night. If you're using your laptop all day, all morning, by the afternoon, it's going to need a break. It's going to need time to recharge. It's so interesting that we'll allow electronics that are optimized to have long battery lives and to do X, Y, and Z. We show an inanimate object compassion and grace and say, oh, of course, I need to plug it in. I've been using it all day. Of course, I've been using my phone all day. But with us, we are human beings. We're like, I don't know why I'm tired. Like, of course you're tired. So I would challenge you to say that I think that if you're watching this video, there's a really big possibility you are into productivity and you're into getting a million things done, and that's wonderful. I think that the intention behind that is beautiful. And I would also hedge a bet that you struggle with feeling guilty when you take a break. And so I would implore you to really sit and think. Ask Google, ask ChatGPT, ask Pinterest for a list of things that are restful and recharging. Even if it's a nap, figure out those things. Make a list of 30 things and try those things. See what things are going to be a recharge for you. For me, let me tell you, it's been coloring. I love coloring. What a slept on thing. I think something I like about it too is I know there are people that are amazing at coloring, but for me, it's one of the few things I don't try to beat myself all the time to do better. It's not something I can turn into a job. It's not something that I can optimize. And so again, coming back to the productivity thing, if you're someone who's constantly trying to improve, you probably are going to need something that is not something you can necessarily improve on in order to recharge, unfortunately for you. But fortunately for you, if you are listening to this and you're like, holy crap, she's describing me, you now know that about yourself. Throughout the last 3 years of my life, I have taken certain experiences that I have gone through and experienced, and instead of being a quote victim to those things, I've used those experiences to positively shape me, and I've tried to view them as things I should be grateful for. And I love that mindset. I genuinely do. However, at some point, I think that those experiences turned me into a hard person. And when I say that, I don't mean I'm difficult to work with or, I'm rude to other people. I would say it's actually very far from that. What I mean is I took those experiences and I decided that I can no longer ever struggle again. And I developed a persona that I truly believed I was. And this persona did not allow for mistakes. She could not confide in people, even her husband, when she was going through things. And she had very rigid expectations that were clouded from black and white thinking. And so I'm not saying this to say that I have that figured out now. It's something I regularly have to challenge. I have to challenge a lot of the beliefs I hold to ensure that I am not re-entering that phase of my life. But I also say all that to say that I was so scared when I lived and existed in that thinking. I was scared that if I left that thinking, even though deep down I knew it wasn't healthy, I was scared that if I left it, I would become a person that's just like lazy and does not get anything done and XYZ. But on the other side of things, as someone who has embraced the reality that I'm not perfect, that I never will be, that life is beautiful because no one's perfect. Now being on the other side of that, I can reflect, and I truly do believe now that I am happier not existing in that state, like so genuinely happy, and I feel very like vivacious. Another thing, I truly have been able to accomplish more because by being able to stop and working through all these things that I didn't know I was just suffocating and not allowing myself to feel, by bringing those things to the surface and taking the time to work through them, which I haven't worked through them completely, but by working through them as much as I can, by allowing myself to feel and experience those feelings and ride the wave of those feelings, now I'm coming to this point where I'm not fully through them, but I'm so genuinely happy because I'm not suffocating how I really feel. And now how I really feel is happy. And I'm able to, get more done, which was always the be all end all when it came to my perfectionism. Now I'm actually getting things done because there aren't these genuine issues that I'm refusing to acknowledge. The last point that I wanted to touch on is that becoming soft does not have to mean becoming a homemaker. Softness isn't just baking bread on Sundays or having a color-coded linen closet, unless that is something you want. It's a mindset, not a lifestyle template. For me, I would say softness is choosing to be gentle and kind and giving yourself space to breathe in a world that constantly asks us to grind until we're sleeping 2 hours a night and to hustle and to be tough. It's letting yourself exist without apologizing for being a human being. And this is something I think a lot of people get confused on. You can be soft and ambitious. You can be soft and career driven. I'm a chaotic person, but I'm also now someone who is soft. You can be soft and independent. Softness is about how you treat yourself and how you treat the people around you. It's not about fitting into a 1950s aesthetic. And again, I'm not hating on that lifestyle at all. I think it's so beautiful, but that's not to say that I want that for myself. It's about how we treat others. It can be boundaries, it can be healing, it can be saying to someone, you deserve peace, instead of, I have to perform womanhood in a certain way. And that's kind of the beauty of it, is softness can look however you want it to look. Sure, the definition of soft might be one thing, but that doesn't mean it has to look that way. It's a cultural term that you have the opportunity to define for yourself. Okay, so I went ahead and took a little bit of a break after I had finished. So I ate something, and then I also went ahead and took a shower because I just wanted to decompress, and I was also starting to get really cold. But I wanted to kind of show you guys what I did and why I did it. So originally, if you see at the beginning of the video, most of the food was scattered everywhere, just all through here. There was also that cart, but that was just not an effective system. I'm sure I end up talking about this in the voiceover of me like organizing the pantry, but something that I think is very important is working with what you have. I see a massive overconsumption with everything in our lives, down to like what we use to organize all this crap that we consume and purchase. So my goal was to use what I already had, even if it doesn't match perfectly, even if it doesn't look aesthetic. That's not the goal of a pantry. The goal of my pantry is that it needs to be sustainable long term, so that way it doesn't get like it looked before. And the other goal is for it to be easy to look at, pick out what I need, go quick. I don't have time to be looking for a bag of flour and then running to Dollar General and buying another bag of flour. More than anything, I want my pantry to be an effective system. So that being said, I thought about it a lot while I was cleaning the pantry, like deep cleaning it. And I realized that the shelves here on my left that are built into the home, they're very deep, like they go quite deep into the wall. And so I kind of was, realizing like, why am I not using that to store food instead? They're also significantly more sturdy than my $30 Walmart shelves. So we have condensed. I do have some space here. I don't know what will go here. I do think it will probably be paper plates, if I'm being honest. We are a paper plate family. But up here I have some honey buns. I have some Gushers, like fruit snacks in here. And then this is our sweet snacks. So in here right now, I just have Reese trees, some like breakfast bars, and then a Nutella thing I randomly found. This will probably be our most used shelf in the whole pantry. I have chips here. I also have some Hello Kitty cotton candy that I keep forgetting I have. Down here toward the bottom, we have most of our daily cleaners. Over here on the top shelf, I just have some magic erasers. I always forget how wonderful these are at getting like really weird stains out, especially out of our counters. I just have some gloves, a lint roller up here, and then trash bags. I also wanted to utilize more of the vertical space within the shelves, especially some of these taller ones. So I remembered I had this for my makeup, but I don't use it for makeup. And so I was like, I'll just use it for silverware. So we have plastic silverware from our wedding still. So now anytime we need, we can just use that instead. I also have our oils easily accessible. And then right here is our baking needs. So like flour, salt. And at the bottom, I just have our detergent, fabric softener, and then our stain remover. Our washing machine, you can probably see it in the video. It's right here. So just being able to quickly grab that is going to be good for convenience. I won't be tempted to throw it like on the shelf because it's right there. Okay, and then over here is where most of our food is now being stored. I'm so happy with this. Truthfully, I wish I had done this sooner, but I think the one valuable lesson I took from this last year of having everything over here is, one, I now know what's not working, and two, I think I will be more appreciative of these and the space that I'll be able to utilize. So up top, again, we're really aiming to take advantage of the space we have, but also keeping in mind the reality of our situations. So I am 5'4". Fun fact, I was 5'3 3/4 up until this year. I randomly hit 5'4", which was amazing. But that height does not allow me to reach up into the back part of the shelf. And it's unrealistic to assume that every time I need something, I am going to grab a chair, grab a step stool, go grab that thing from the back of the shelf, get down, utilize the item, grab the step stool again, and put the item back. And, I like to say and instead of but, I learned that from my therapist. She was amazing. She's alive. Anyway, and that doesn't mean we don't use the shelf. So I thought these bins would be a really great way to still take advantage of this space. So in this first bin here, I have those like quick pastas. So I have like risotto, All these risotto, the best thing for weeknights. So delicious. In this one, it's just all ramen. In this one, I have mac and cheese. We have quite a lot of mac and cheese, so I gave it its own designated space. And then this one here just has some more like things like quinoa. We eat a lot of things like that, so being able to quickly grab it is very important. Moving down to the next shelf, this is what I would describe as more so our sauces, dressings, and then components to form our own dressings or sauces. Moving on to the third shelf down, this is primarily vegetables and beans. We have green beans, corn, carrots, beets. I also have these mini ravioli cans. And by we, I mean my husband, and there's about 1 million of them, and I'm not convinced he's gonna eat them as much as he's convinced he's gonna eat them, so I guess we'll see. And then down here, just more of the pastas. And then I'm not sure if you guys can see the very bottom, but on the floor here, I just have our refills for our cleaners. It is taking everything in me right now not to apologize for not having makeup on, and that makes me really sad because I'm a huge proponent in being kind to ourselves and gentle to ourselves. I would never watch another person on YouTube and think, they don't have makeup on clearly, or they have really bad acne. Like, that's not something I would really be concerned about. And so I think just the fact that I am so willing to do that for others and not myself, super sad. Setting all of that aside, I really do want to get the kitchen done tonight, but it's approaching 1 a.m, and I think it's unrealistic to set a goal like that when I worked so hard on the pantry tonight, which was inevitably my main goal. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and take the night, go ahead and sleep, and then when my husband gets home from work, I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to wake up, keep moving along with the rooms, and then go from there. Okay guys, so it is actually the next day, and I'm going to be going into work a little sooner than I expected. So my plan is I'm going to go to work, and then when I get back, I will go ahead and get back to cleaning. Okay, so it's actually about 2 o'clock in the morning. My baby, are you happy? I wasn't planning to talk about this, but I want to be really honest about how I'm feeling, because I think a big issue we have on social media is we attempt to create a facade or an appearance, oftentimes for good reason, to protect ourselves. Being on social media, you make yourself a business. So, for example, people who may post themselves cleaning online, a big part of their business, who they are, is they have to appear motivating. And so it's not always the most motivating thing to say, hey, I feel like crap right now. But I'm going to be honest, I'm feeling very overwhelmed by the amount of things I have to do. And when I get to this place, I tend to gaslight myself. I'm like, it's really not that much. I shouldn't feel overwhelmed. And that is not the reality of my situation. I love saying that phrase, the reality of my situation, because I think so often I literally just convinced myself I wasn't recording. That's so funny. But I see this happen a lot, and I know I'm not the only person that does this, where we are going through hard situations and those feelings are hard to comprehend. And so in an attempt to push those feelings away and not feel that way anymore, we tell ourselves that our situations are not that big of a deal, that they're not that stressful, that people are going through worse. And I see a lot of people saying they don't want to be a victim, and I totally get that. I, as a result of not wanting to be a victim, shoved like every feeling I had away for 3.5 years. Unfortunately, it's not sustainable. So part of why I made this YouTube channel was to have a creative outlet and to have somewhere where I could express how I genuinely feel. And right now, I genuinely feel overwhelmed. And I am at times putting more on my plate than I should. And sometimes such as right now, I am setting unreasonable expectations. And so right now, the expectations that are unreasonable is I am telling myself that if I'm going to clean my kitchen, I need to pull everything out of each individual cabinet, wipe every single cabinet interior down, and I need to then put everything back. That is not realistic. It's just not. I'm also telling myself that everything needs to be perfect, and it won't be. And so I am going to tonight and the rest of this week, since I have set this challenge to clean my apartment really nicely in a week, I'm going to be kinder to myself. I'm going to be softer toward myself. Sorry if you guys hear my dog, he's playing with his bone. I'm going to be more compassionate to myself, and that is going to look like focusing on the things that are going to make the biggest difference. So my plan is I'm going to put myself in a place where I feel comfortable cleaning, which is going to be lighting candles, grabbing my laptop and putting something on there. I'm going to focus on getting the countertops cleaned, the kitchen sink nice and shiny and pretty, and getting the dishes put away. And that will be the end of this video. And I hope that if you're listening to this while you're cleaning, which is a very big possibility, I hope that what you get from this video is that your home will never be perfect. You will never be perfect. That doesn't mean we don't try. You should always try. But setting those unrealistic standards are not going to get you any closer to that. So just take a breath. Make it fun. Like for me, I'm gonna be honest, I am not looking forward to finishing up the kitchen. I can't tell you how much I don't want to, but I know the reality is I will feel better if I get it done, and that's important for my mental health. So I am just going to focus on those macro tasks that are going to be easy enough in a way that makes a big difference. And then tomorrow, after I have slept and I wake up feeling a different way, then we approach the task of, okay, what is something a little harder that might be a little less noticeable? What is that thing that we can work on today? Okay, so as you guys just saw from that last clip, things did not go the way I anticipated. Something I didn't account for when I made my plans was how I would feel physically and mentally. And those things, regardless of when we choose to acknowledge them, those things absolutely impact our ability to effectively complete tasks. And so I didn't account for that. And I also did not account for, and this is far harder to plan for, but, the fact that life happens. I didn't anticipate, going in early to work. But I'm grateful I went in early to work. It gave me the opportunity to, make some extra money. But I think it's really common to struggle to want to clean. I don't know many people who use cleaning as a coping skill or something that they just have to do. But something I learned when I was in therapy is called behavior activation, and this is such a wonderful tool. Personally, I don't like talking about this because I think sometimes it can be isolating for people who don't have this, but personally I have ADHD, and even if you don't have ADHD, I would like to remind you that most people today have symptoms of ADHD. They have things that resemble ADHD. So keep that in mind. If you're I don't have that, so I don't need this advice. You probably do. You probably do need this advice. And that is something called behavior activation. And basically the principle of it is, if you have a lot of things to do, let's just say you have to, I'm going to use cleaning the kitchen. If you have to clean the kitchen, stop treating that as just one task on your to-do list, because that is going to feel overwhelming and you're less likely to complete that task. Instead, say, okay, I have to clean the kitchen. but that's like really overwhelming right now. So maybe you're going to set the goal of, I'm going to walk into the kitchen and I'm going to grab all the cleaning products that I need to clean the kitchen. That is going to be a task. Maybe task 2 is going to be, I am going to get rid of all the food in the refrigerator that is expired. And that's going to be task 2. Not, I'm going to wash all the dishes then once I'm done cleaning out the refrigerator. No, it's just task 2 is clean out the food we don't need anymore. Task 3 might be, I am just going to wash my coffee cup because I need that in the morning for work. And that's going to be task 3. Like, it's breaking things up into small, manageable tasks that you'll actually be more likely to accomplish. And I used to think to myself, like, oh, if I have 400 tasks instead of one big one, I'm less likely to do all those tasks. But what was happening instead was I was letting that one ginormous task sit on my list for like a week at a time. Instead, if I would have just broken it up into, as crazy as it sounds, like 20 tasks, I would have at the very least that day gotten done like 10 of those tasks. And then the next day I would have gotten done like 5 of them. And maybe that last day I would have gotten 5 done. But at least I would have gotten the kitchen cleaned after 3 days instead of 8 days, So behavior activation isn't, you're going to get everything done today. It's, you're probably not going to get everything done today. At least that's what it looks like for me. Instead, it's, we're going to do the smallest, littlest pieces, and then we're going to go from there. And that's something I also recommend. Like, yes, break your tasks into smaller tasks, but make sure you're choosing those easier things first, because it's going to build momentum. An object in motion stays in motion. So, if you need to clean the bathroom, step 1 is literally going to be going into the bathroom, like walking to the bathroom. And it sounds absurd, but I don't think we have the right to call it absurd if we do struggle with getting things done. And it's something I had to kind of work through because I thought it was ridiculous at first, but it's honestly changed my life in such a positive way, and it's allowed me to create routines. And that's another thing I kind of wanted to talk about for a moment, is the comfort that routines can provide. I think that a lot of us struggle with having consistent routines, and I think there's 2 reasons for that. The first is that we want routines. I don't think I know anyone that says, oh, I hate routines, therefore I'm never going to have them. I think even people who dislike them still can objectively look at the concept of a routine and say, this is a beneficial thing for my life. I think the problem is, however, we set unrealistic routines. We say, okay, I'm going to get up at 5 in the morning and I'm going to work out for 3 hours, and then I'm going to make a homemade breakfast that is like the healthiest thing on the planet, and then I'm going to take 2 hours to get ready, and I am going to walk out the door 45 minutes early, and I'm going to get to work early, and I'm going to make a green tea, and it's going to be perfect. Like, how unrealistic does that sound? So instead, for me, that's looked like I am going to, for 3 weeks straight, I'm choosing 3 small things that I'm going to make sure I do every day. So for me, currently, as someone who's working on building routines, right now I'm particularly focusing on a morning routine. Right now, the goals I have set for myself in the morning are, I'm going to change into, like, even if it's comfy clothes when I have days off, but, I'm going to change into clothes that aren't my pajamas. The second thing is, and this is almost more applicable when I don't have work, but I am going to make my bed, and even if I'm just sitting on the couch, I'm going to get out of my bedroom, because that's going to encourage me to do more rather than just, one of my favorite terms, quote, bed rotting. And then the last thing I set for myself is, I personally love showering twice a day. I know it's not for everyone, but personally, I've noticed that when I shower in the morning, it wakes me up and it refreshes me. I like to take, I would say, like a lukewarm shower. It kind of awakens my nervous system. And then in the evening, I also love to shower. And so, at night, I take like a nice, like, hot shower, and it's just relaxing. So yeah, like, that's just one small piece that I can use, like, these are all 3 small, very manageable tasks. And if 2 months from now I want to add maybe 1 more thing, maybe 2 more things, I can do that. But those routines can really help, especially when you're going through an unpredictable season of life. It can make life all the more easier and manageable. Okay, so we are getting to the end of the video, so I just wanted to close out by thanking you so much for watching. If you did make it to the end of this video, it truly means the world to me. One thing I would ask is that if you did enjoy this video, if you would maybe consider subscribing, that would be such a beautiful thing for me and such a blessing, because I'm a very, 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 very small creator right now, and I would love to be able to do this more often. Another thing you would maybe consider doing is leaving a comment below that you enjoyed this video or that you would like videos like it. It just helps me know what people like, what people are enjoying, and I love looking at information like that when determining what my next video will be. But all of that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a beautiful day, and I hope you remember to rest for a little bit today. Bye guys!